Let's try this again. I keep yawning. So now I'm going to eat some unholy chocolate and see if I can't raise my blood sugar. I didn't eat all day. I've been pretty busy since I did the video. But ever since I was a kid, I always asked why. Uh, I'm, I grew up in a very turbulent time. Uh, I was born in 1965, and being from the 60s, I mean, let's see, my dad had served in Korea. My uncle was serving in Vietnam. My grandfather was making napalm at Union Carbide. John F. Kennedy was still on the lips of people in America as having just been assassinated. Martin Luther King had just been assassinated. Gandhi was still a really relevant word, and his movement, uh, I don't know, my brother just got in the Marine Corps, and they were talking about him going to Vietnam, which apparently he just barely missed. So the war and its efforts had reached a lot of my family members, and I could go on and on and on about other family members. But I can always remember asking my dad the why of things. I'd drive him crazy with it. And when your dad's a Republican and your grandmother's a Democrat, my grandmother would give me little tidbits of information. Of course, she didn't know everything, and my dad didn't know everything, and I don't know everything. But I can say that I'm more privileged in this time to have more information available to me than my grandparents had or my great grandparents had. They had to just go with what was in the paper or general print, the sheeple news, as it were. So, you know, I can remember being a teenager and finally feeling like I was confident enough to ask my dad about politics because my dad was very well read. And short of Louis L'Amour, which he just loved those novels when I was a teenager, my dad was very political and he would watch the news. And like all the rest of America, he would believe the lie. Whatever the lie was, he would believe the lie. Well, all the while I'm asking why. Not why would he believe the lie, but why is this happening? Why are we in why are we in Central America? Why are we in South America? Why are we in the Middle East? Why are we doing this? Why are we going off the gold standard? Why are we going off the silver standard? Why are we not declaring war in order to make this a constitutional war? Well, because they have to actually pose a threat to the United States, not to corporate America. So this combat and that combat, why did we assassinate this leader? Why did we assassinate that leader? Well, we didn't assassinate that leader. That was the story that we get. And then, of course, we find out later that the CIA had gone around the world and killed world leaders. And I was like, well, it's no wonder they hate the United States. Well, they shouldn't hate the United States. Screw them. That's their problem, not ours. Well, no, it was our problem. So it led to the question of why. And my dad and I, sort of under a political basis, had this hard-driven nail between us. And my dad, he'd served, like I said, he served in Korea, and came home and hates it when anyone challenges the United States. Well, I can't say that I'm a hippie, but I'm definitely a constitutionalist through and through. And I know, as a lot of Americans should know, that implementing and utilizing the Constitution, stretching its legs out and letting it run all over this country as freedom and liberty as it should be, would solve all of our international woes. But the corruption from the White House all the way down to your dinner plate calls all of us to be, well, corrupt. And therefore, I get some people who say, they bought our debt, therefore we had to give them our jobs. Well, why are we in debt? Let's see, unconstitutional wars, maybe. So the story, the plot just thickens and thickens and thickens every time you go around the world and look at the why of all this stuff. And it becomes frustrating because here in America,
Hello,
it's
America.
just as simple. Hello, America. That was my video. I'm going to read some of the written. Now, I have some great video responses, which I'm really glad. And I think Lunalis was right, and this is exactly how I feel. I knew somehow as a kid this was coming. I believe it is why I am here now. We are beyond a fascist police state now, and why don't most people see it? I know so many people who think everything is still okay, and so many people do think everything is still okay. As they fight and struggle to have more money, more accomplishment, less humanity, less compassion for those less fortunate, there is now the rich and the poor. It seems the rich are what they want, like robots with no feeling, doing everything perfectly as they are programmed. You know, and that's exactly right. I see each and every one of us fighting, struggling to come about with something, and I'm still asking the why. So I guess the rest of my sentence is, why aren't there more constitutionalists? Why aren't there more people who are willing to protect their own self-interest? I mean, picking up a phone, someone's listening. Using your cell phone, someone else is listening, not just the person on the other end. And it doesn't matter whether or not you're doing something wrong. You're not doing anything wrong in a nation of innocence until proven guilty under the Constitution. Constitutionally, anyone who's arrested shouldn't be fingerprinted or photographed until they are convicted. Not the moment before. None of it. That's constitutionality. You are innocent until you are proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. And that's constitutionality. To own a gun isn't to fill out a piece of paper. We've all been manipulated. This person after that, after that. It's all part of gun control. And you can just, the list it just never stops of how they're trying to steal your freedom. And you can talk about salvage, and you can talk about the straw man, and you can talk about this, that, and the other. Well, let's talk about just you, America, each and every one of you. You're willing to remain corrupted in order to have plasma screen television so that your Circus Maximus never shuts down. America needs to realize that if we take back our nation, we will be able to pay back our debt before we're dead. And we will be able to keep our sovereignty, our liberty, and our freedom. Not just our nation's sovereignty, but your sovereignty and my sovereignty. And I will be able to hand down a legacy to my children of freedom and peace. That when a nation threatens us or declares war on us, that we bring together our Congress and declare war and raise our nation and crush them, whoever they are. That our million-man strong army remain here on American soil, training. That our missile technology becomes better and better. Well, Area 51's finally been declassified. And what they're not telling you is that the Area 51 has been moved. There are now 3 bases in the Rocky Mountains, and closer to space, because that's where we're going next. Going into space doesn't help the American people. So we need to stop the space program for the time in order to help the American people. I'm hearing more and more about this bird flu pandemic and mass graves and FEMA concentration camps, and they're actually bringing them out into the open, so that you can hear words like re-education camp, where they capture you and stick you in front of a TV and teach you how to speak and how to think like they do. And that's something very, very Orwellian about that, and that's exactly where we were headed then. And I told my dad when I was about 16, Dad, we're heading for a communist nation. No, we're not. Don't you speak like that. We'll never be communist. America will become communist. And I was right then, and I'm still trying to stop it now. But, people just don't want to open their mind. I'd rather remain closed. So, yeah. I'll be back with the next in this. I'll see you in a minute. This one finally came off without a catch. I'll talk to you in just a few minutes. Bye-bye.